What is going on, guys? DBG here, and in this video we are going to be talking a little bit about NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. And in this video we're going to be talking about how 2K can make the game mode, I'm not going to say perfect, because we all strive for perfection, and I fully believe it's something that is not possible. I fully believe that perfection is something that is not going to be possible, but I'm going to be, rather than talking about things that need, like things that were kind of disasters this year, like I already have, I'm going to be giving specific things that we need in MyTEAM and that could make it as close to a perfect game as possible. So, in my opinion, the single player section of MyTEAM is fine. Look, domination, it matters at the start of the year. And I actually think that domination, which has been in the game since NBA 2K14, if I'm not mistaken, domination. Was domination in the game in NBA? It was definitely in the game in NBA 2K15. I don't even remember who we got for completing. Oh, you didn't even, for completing domination 2K15. I don't even think you got a reward, did you? Or was it like... No, it was Tiny Archibald, I think, was it? Yeah. You got Tiny Archibald. I think 2K14 had domination. So, yeah, domination was in 2K14, where I don't think there was a final reward. I think you just got one player from each team, which at the time was really good. But, yeah, that was kind of crazy. And in 2K... So, basically, we've only had one iteration of MyTEAM, and I'm not counting the... challenges for Sapphire players in 2K14 last gen. We only had one mode where we haven't had domination, and ever since NBA 2K, I think 2K18, we've had 3 dominations. Yeah, and it's been the case for the last couple of years, and I really like it. And I also really like the fact that there were new dominations. Were these dominations for their time good? Yeah. I mean, Mel Daniels was great, so was Antoine Jameson. I don't think that these were bad things to have done at the time, especially because they weren't difficult. What I would like to see in the last domination is something called like endgame domination, where we get like a ridiculous reward, or even just a silly reward. Like, even if you want to give us like invincible Muggsy Bogues, I'm fine with that. But what I would like is, say, a free dark matter from every single team. That would be actually a pretty nice one that you can auction. That would be bringing back to the old days domination, but again, not the biggest deal in the world. I actually really like domination, so keep domination as is. Challenges, spotlights. You know what? This is growing on me. These gauntlet spotlight sims are growing on me as time's gone on. I still think for the, not to deny the invincible, for the gold versus invincible challenge, invincible face-off, I still think that you should have been allowed to use one emerald player. I think that would have made all the difference, being allowed to use one singular emerald player. But people figured it out with plays, and thankfully people have figured it out. And the rest of these challenges I actually don't think are too bad. So that's kind of growing on me. I think for new players they're impossible, but look, it is what it is. Triple Threat perfect this year. And obviously freestyle mode. So keep this mode as is. The level 40, one thing I like it and I don't like it. I don't think this should be a thing with timed XP. Like, look, at the start of the year, I had a really big problem with like having to do certain challenges in unlimited and stuff, and I think they've stopped doing that. And I actually like when they're saying, when there's like challenges saying doing it in multiplayer games, because I think that is perfectly fine. As long as it doesn't need to be done in unlimited, a game mode where it really matters whether you win or lose. These XP challenges, and the game mode where you have a record. Like, again, we are actually 4-4, and like, I've quit out of 4 games, but still, like, when your record matters, like, it shouldn't there shouldn't be like XP challenges in a mode like that. But other than that, like, I really like what they've done with the level 40. Look, I think there are flaws. There are definitely flaws to some of the things they've done with level 40, but I like the way it was really hard in season 1. It was slightly easier in season 2, slightly easier in season 3, slightly easier in season 4, but still difficult in the ball. In season 5 was still difficult, but if you wanted D-Rob, you could definitely get D-Rob. And then from like season 6 onwards, realistically, they were about 30-hour grinds, maybe. And then season 7 was like a 24-hour grind. Season 8 was this season. Again, I'm going to get Luca. Like, it's a matter of when, not if. I'm probably going to get probably going to do a few of these XP challenges for these cards. A couple of 4K ones. Like, I'll get Luca. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm not really too fussed about when I get him. I'll get him. But I gotta say, this is a really good thing. Triple threat events later on in the year have been great. I actually don't mind them throughout the year. And yeah, I don't actually mind this. Because, like, in general, like, there are a few things that are obviously worthy of complaining about. Like, obviously, this, like, is I'm not even sure about the legality of this. Of just saying there's 100% chance to get a player. In America, I know it's fine in America, but America also isn't one of the countries where they legally have to disclose the odds. But in terms of packs, like, I actually don't. I think they maybe slow down. One thing I dislike, and I will say this, is that we're getting too many big player packs. Like, for example, when you have a promo, like, say Quantum here. The day of Quantum packs, we got 2 hero cards, as well as 15 cards in Quantum packs. I think they should limit promos to 10 cards. Like, I think promos, I get it. You might think, oh, more people are going to be... Or sorry, there was 13 cards in this. I think you should limit promos to 10, maybe even 8 cards. I don't think it really affects it too much. Like, for example, if we got Austin Crozier, we only got one... If you took away one of each of these tiers, okay, I don't think people would really care that much. Like, I think you should limit it to 10 players. Because when you limit it to 10 players, it means we don't have a ridiculous amount of cards. I know you obviously had to put in the cards because you put a 4,000 reward. But I think that even like Season Rewind, there are too many cards coming in all the Season Rewinds. There are just too many cards in the game, and I think it made the game outdated a little bit fast, honestly. Like, from the start of Season 5 onwards, the game kind of just got blown out of proportion. And blown out quickly. So, I think that I'm not even going to complain saying there are too many cards per se, but like this set here, like this was one of the most hyped sets of the year and there are only 7 cards. And then suddenly for out of position 3, there are 11. Like, more cards don't necessarily equal hype. It's just the good card. Like, we do just want good cards more so than we want more cards. But at the end of the day, this is like kind of a minor problem. I just think that it'll help a little bit with just stopping every card being demigods. Like, we literally got a set today or yesterday of Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James, who are all the exact same as their Invincibles, and James Harden, and Kevin Durant. We just got, like, we literally have 6 cards here who are just the exact same as their Invincible cards. So, like, hey, look, I get it. I did like what we saw yesterday, but I do think that they could have paced the game a little bit better and had these cards be a little bit worse than their Invincibles and still giving us the cards, for example. But yeah, that's not the biggest deal in the world. I actually don't necessarily mind too much what 2K have done with the packs. With their free content, I loved what they did. Basically, if you take out these guys here, free content, and Season 6 is just lack of content, free content has been exceptional this year. It has been absolutely exceptional. And I will say that that's one thing 2K have done really, really well. It is absolutely exceptional. Okay. There are 7 Invincible rewards? Moses Malone, Bobo, Luca, Blake, Taco. Oh yeah, there are. But yeah, there are just too many like absolutely elite cards, and the problem is that 2K kind of had to do that because of the 4,000 cards and just constantly having to outdo themselves. So I just think they need to just do a little bit of better job pacing themselves for next year. But again, it is an annoying flaw, but I don't think it's game breaking. I think this mode these game modes right here are what need to be changed. The multiplayer modes. Because nobody even plays 5v5 anymore. Triple Threat Online, as I always say, keep it as the same. So I'm going to give specific things to make these modes perfect. I think the names MyTEAM Limited, MyTEAM Unlimited, they need to be gone. Because again, MyTEAM Limited talks about limited time, MyTEAM Unlimited, unlimited time. Scrap both of those modes. In my opinion, those type of modes where you literally have to win games to get anything, where there is no prize, where there are no prizes for losing games. Like in FIFA, if you lose all your games, you're still getting some rivals rewards. If you lose all your, well, you're not going to get 0-30 in Weekend League, but even still, you get some sort of rewards for just playing the games, whereas in this game, if you lose games, you literally get nothing. So I don't believe an XP grind and game modes where you get 0 if you lose have any play, like, can coexist. So I think you keep the XP grind. I actually think it's fantastic what 2K have done. I think certain ways it's implemented better in FIFA, but in some ways it's implemented better in 2K. If Triple Threat didn't exist, I would say it was a disaster, because you can get some challenges done Triple Threat, but it does exist, so that kind of makes it good. But again, Triple Threat online, Triple Threat offline. Offline's pretty much the same. So scrap those modes, and this is what I think they need to be replaced with. So I think there should be, as I always say, this is my number one. My number one requirement is unranked single matches. There should be unranked single matches. That is the most important thing. Friendlies, whatever you want to call them, so that people can just go out to their squad. And yeah, there's going to be pub stompers. There are going to be people cheesing in unranked single matches. But why would but at least if someone can cheese the game, they're more than likely going to play for big rewards. If you have rewards in other modes, they're not going to play in this mode for no rewards. Apart from maybe the occasional times to feel good about themselves. But a lot of time in single matches, you're going to be playing against kind of weaker players. And I think for single matches, there should be there should be no restrictions. Do whatever the hell you want for your squad. And then I think the main 5v5 mode, like people are saying unlimited road to the playoffs, I would agree with that if it's not. I like it, but it can't be the main mode. It cannot be the main mode. There cannot be a main mode where if you hit a certain point, you can no longer get rewards. And that's one of the big problems with the way people play video games nowadays. You can't really do that. I think a division rival system like FIFA would be the perfect thing. And the division rival system should be used for the 250k tournament. The 250k tournament should be based around the division rival system. So, for example, what the division rival system, if you guys don't know what that is in FIFA. So, basically, it is a system where you play a bunch of placement games and against people of all different levels. And depending on how many placement games you win or lose, you get put into a certain division. And divisions go from 10 to 1. So, if you win all your games, you might get put in Division 2. And then you only play against other people with like a similar skill level. So like you might play, if you're Division 2, you might play against someone in Division 3 or Division 1. But you're not going to play someone like Division 5. I think that's the way it should be with 2K, with the way their skill-based matchmaking is. And every person has a skill rank. So for example, if you're destroying everybody, you have a skill rank of a certain amount of points, and you only play people with similar skill points. And you can see at the end of every game what your opponent's skill points are. And your result of the game lowers, all your result of your game does in terms of your skill points is lower or higher your skill points. So unlike in what used to happen in Supermax, which I think was a big flaw, is that I could come up against Ty online. I could win 10 games online, and because I'm like ranked really high, I only get 25 points. But I could come up against Ty and lose one game and lose 250 points. But someone else could come up against a bunch of like scrubs and get more points than you. But in this system, if you beat a better player, you get way more points. And if you lose to a better player, you barely lose any points. I think something like that should be implemented. A very similar system to the way FIFA have it in terms of rivals. And then in rivals, you play 30 games a week. And at the end of the 30 games, you get a certain amount of points. While your skill points have nothing to do with your points. So if you win a game by X amount, you get a certain amount of points. And the points add up. And whatever amount of points you have, I'm going to call skill points SP. Like, right, there's like weak points, and then whoever gets the highest in the weak points for the division gets like the top rewards. But even if you get hardly any points, if you barely played a game, you still get some rewards. And that's the problem with 2K, is that if you go into MyTEAM Unlimited, and for example, I need to win 3 games. I'm going to win 3 games. But if you, for example, win 2 out of 12 games, you get nothing. If you win 1 out of 12 games, you get relegated and nothing. Like, again, this system is so bad. This is the worst possible way to implement this system. There should be if they're going to implement a ladder system, like going through divisions, there needs to be a prize for winning the division, a prize for coming second in the division, for staying in the division, and a prize for getting relegated. Even if the prize is something small, like 500 MT, it's something. But yeah, I personally think that would be the division rival system for FIFA would be great. And then weekend league would be not like draft. I'm just saying this right now. No one cares. No one will care about a draft mode. We don't need a draft mode. Everyone harps on about a draft mode, but let's be real. We play a draft mode we all play draft modes for one day, even if they're updated. Just like with the way in FIFA, we play the draft modes the first day of the game, then we don't play the game mode again. Because look, if the draft mode was such a big thing, we wouldn't even care about building our best teams. So yeah, that's the least of my priorities. If they put a draft mode into exactly what we have now, the 5v5 modes are still absolutely garbage, and no one will play them. If you're putting in a weekend game mode, it needs to be a competitive mode. The only casual game mode, I personally believe Limited is the only casual game mode in this game where you can use a non-God squad and non-meta teams to compete. The problem is that the only casual game mode for the casual players, well, not even for the casual players, the only game mode that allows casual players not to sweat non-stop is only available on weekends, which just can't be a thing. Single matches eliminates that. MyTEAM, if you're putting in a weekend mode, it has to be a weekend league type ultra competitive mode. If not, do not put a weekend mode in. I'm telling you, it was a good idea. This was a good idea that was poorly executed. MyTEAM Limited, like again, no one was to know how MyTEAM Limited was going to turn out, especially, and also the RNG reward system needs to go for MyTEAM Unlimited. You know what? I don't even care about the RNG reward system in Triple Threat. I don't even care that much because you get through a whole bunch of games super fast, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. But in MyTEAM Limited in 5v5 mode, the fact that you can play a 30-minute game and get one token, or you can play one game. You can play. I know people that played 8 games and got 6 rings, and in some of the seasons, I think I got 6 rings within maybe 12 games, and in other ones, I just didn't even bother for Moses Malone because I realized I didn't care that much about it. But in season, I've had 3. Actually, no, my first ring for Moses Malone was in game number 23. It was game number 23. So I realized like I don't actually have time to play 23 more games. I played with and then I played the Rainbow Week a few games for gameplays and didn't get a ring anytime there. But yeah, so basically for the mode to be perfect, I think they need to keep the way they're running XP. I don't even mind the packs. Look, make your money 2K. I don't even mind that too much. As long as you don't pull this stunt again. As long as you don't pull this stunt of just 100% everywhere. That is not what I'm not a fan whatsoever of that. But at the end of the day, it's not too bad. Offline game modes, keep them all the same. You've done a great job this year. And I just believe doing a little bit of a better job because what they've done this year, the way their modes are this year, it doesn't appeal to casual players, nor does it appeal to competitive players. It literally does not appeal to anybody. There's a reason why people don't boot up 5v5 in this game. Because 2K have not. First of all, Drazen has the reward, but even a better reward, I'm still not going to play Unlimited. Very few are going to. When I say nobody, I mean like very few people are going to actually grind Unlimited. Like yeah, again, the casual player will just play like we used to play Road to the Playoffs back in the day. The problem is that there's a difference between playing the mode and like at least we Road to the Playoffs was like basically something like this. You never had to go 12-0. Like 12-0 should never be a thing in a video game. Like that, if 12-0 is the only thing, and you have to win 12 games in a row at the very start, like I didn't like the fact it was 12-0 prior to it, but the fact you have to win like 50 games and then go 12-0 is one of the worst video game progression systems in the history of gaming. And like I actually don't want to see the words MyTEAM Unlimited ever again. It is never like I didn't like 12-0, but it's a lot better than what we have now. Like last year was bad. Like people are saying 12-0 is the greatest thing ever. We didn't like 12-0 at the time. But this new system, because of how just bad it is, they tried to bring in a Road to the Playoff system, but failed miserably because the times have changed. In a game where we have so many more other rewarding things, like it just needs to be changed. But that's pretty much it. Perfect MyTEAM. Basically, exactly what even if they only wanted the very end of the year to put in limited time challenges, I'm good with that if they do that next year. If they keep level 40 exact way it was, keep it the exact same progression the way it was, the exact same difficulty as it was this year, I'm fine with that. Single player, perfect. Multiplayer, I explained how it needs to be changed. Auction house, the only, look, they're not going to make buyouts over 100k. The only thing I would say is I would really, really like it if the badges were in alphabetical order. I would like it if they were in alphabetical order. Like, that would be one thing. And I also would like it if you if they put a little bit more time to get the theme in alphabetical order. Like it goes C, number, D, D, E, F, P. What the hell is Pantheon doing here? F, 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 whatever, flash. And then okay, F, I. So there's no G, H then, is there? No, there's G. Then there's H. So I is before G and H. And then suddenly there's all the invincibles, G, H, then idols. Like, they're not in alphabetical order. And then there's heroes at the end. Like, it doesn't... There's no it's not in alphabetical order. It's kind of in alphabetical order. I don't know what it is. And if this happens to be alphabetical order in a different language, I'm just putting an asterisk here. If this is alphabetical order in a different language, actually, there's no way that a dash number, there is a letter that's more than that in alphabetical order. But if this, on the off chance this is alphabetical order in a different language, and that's the same with the badges, I do apologize for that one. In terms of like the lineup, the exchange just needs to be a little bit better. I don't even mind what they did later on in the year. A few of these late on in the year exchanges aren't too bad. I really liked the Bobby Jones exchange at the time. I just wish they'd given more of them throughout the year. I think they were that was a really good addition. I think some of these exchanges, like the Rose one, made sense, but a lot of these were just disastrous. Card evolution. I mean, what's an Evo? I mean, what's an Evo? That's all I'm gonna say. What's an Evo? They fumbled the bag with Evos this year. They were talking about how great it's going to be to have all these different Evos, but I mean, outside of like D-Rose, LeBron, and these cards right here, there was no choice in our Evos. It was the biggest fumbled bag they've ever made. And then codes and stuff, you know what? Like, would I rather them not do what they did this year? Like, I like the amount of codes, but I don't like the fact that codes in season 3 had a guaranteed pack, and then in season 4 they stopped making them guaranteed packs. That is one thing that I really just don't like about the codes. And then I also don't like the way that they made creator codes worse for the creators, that they used to give out a guaranteed pack and then the code stopped being guaranteed packs. So obviously people were complaining about that, and then when those creators complained to 2K, they decided to react by just taking the creator codes away. I don't like that. Simply put, is again, we've seen from the changes 2K make that they do watch these videos. That is one thing that I think I just do not think was the right idea. I think they should just give them packs, guaranteed pack and locker code. The packs give them bronzes out anyway. But yeah, other than that, I think this year wasn't far off. I'll say that there were flaws, and one of the big reasons why I really liked season concept is, for example, season 6 was a disaster, but season 7 was great. You can very easily, if something's really bad, a new season changes kind of the outlook of the mode. I do like that. I really do like that. I think season 8 started off as a disaster. I do think the spotlight scenes are kind of growing on me, but I do think there were a lot of problems with season 8. I think it's gotten better as it's gone along, but I do think this is kind of a flawed season. But I like the way, again, in 13 days there's going to be one final season 9, so it's bringing more hype into the mode. Seasons concept great, agenda great. This mode was very close to being good. Single player, this is the best single player 2K has ever been. I'm saying this right now, this has been the best single player. However, everything to do with the multiplayer side of this game mode, I don't know what the reasoning for it is, or what the reasoning was, but everything about the multiplayer side of MyTEAM, outside of Triple Threat, the multiplayer 5v5, has been bad. It's been really bad this year. And I think that once that's fixed, if they don't fix anything else, and they just fix their like misspellings and just weird errors, and just make the multiplayer game mode completely, it doesn't need to be changed. It doesn't need a few small changes. It needs to be revamped. Look, like, again, you copied FIFA with XP all the way down to using the exact same font and same color pattern in the XP logo. Copy FIFA's multiplayer, because that is, I fully believe 2K's single player and the way 2K gives out free content is superior to FIFA. I fully believe that. But I think if 2K just fixed the multiplayer and completely revamp it, it will be one of the best Ultimate Team type game modes. And I think that it will breathe life back into the game in terms of multiplayer. Because right now, the only thing that's getting any hype into MyTEAM is the single player aspect. And whoever's in charge of this, hats off to you. You've done an exceptional job. Yes, there are things I will criticize, but all in all, there has been, for every one bad thing in the single player section, there's been 5 good things. Exceptional job. But I just think that this section here, and I think it might be too late to have made this video again. But if this gets a full revamp, we will have again, nothing will ever be perfect, but we will have a MyTEAM that on paper we can look at and say, look, this could be good. Because again, I'm all for a new idea, just like Limited. I'm not going to go too hard on Limited because it was a new idea. It just wasn't executed and didn't turn out the way they would have hoped. However, Unlimited, even at the time, didn't sound great. And to be fair though, I did say in the Limited, the rings in Limited being RNG was a disaster, but that's the thing. I just want this mode to be, I just want it to be a case of they tried and, like 2K trying and failing, rather than not really trying at all. And I think Limited tried and failed. I think MyTEAM Unlimited, they really didn't try this year with it at all, to make it any way better. But I do think that if they put as much time focusing on the multiplayer side as they do on the single player side, we're going to have as close to a perfect year as possible. Obviously, gameplay is gameplay, but we're never really, like, the gameplay is the gameplay. We can't affect that. Park guys will always rule the gameplay. They're the guys that are going to be in the ear of the gameplay devs. Park guys and people that play on their couches. Those second people that play on their couches with their friends, you could give them the best basketball game ever, the worst basketball game ever. They're not going to notice the difference. But the park guys, my God, unless dribbling is the most overpowered meta thing in the game, they'll have a problem with something. Anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.